Today, we are discussing the top 3 reasons why relationships fail. And we're talking about this topic because these 3 areas that we're going to dive into are really, really important to master. Yeah, to understand the dynamics around them and to work through them, to hone them so that you can have the deepest level of intimacy possible, the deepest level of passion possible, and the deepest level of connection possible. And so let's dive in. A very, very common area that I see that causes a lot of contention in relationships that can often cause it to fail is number one is misalignment in the intention of the relationship. Now, what do we mean by that? The intention of the relationship is like, what is the purpose of this relationship? What is the intention? Is the intention to have fun together? Is the intention to be together long term? Yeah, and feel each other out as potential mates for marriage and kids. Right? Is one person's intention to have kids and one is not? Is the intention of the relationship to deepen in love and only do things that serve the highest good of the relationship? Is the intention just to play? So getting clear on what is the intention, behind why we're together. You can also think of it as like what's the goal? What's the end goal? Or the now goal, right? Because the intention, the goal, however you want to name it, that will shift, right? That may shift. The intention from when you started the relationship might be, we want to have fun together. Yeah, we just want to see where things go. We want to play. We want to get to know each other. Now, maybe that's your intention. And maybe, let's say a year in, one party of the relationship has a different intention. Their intention is now, okay, I want to start a family. I want to get married. Maybe the other person's intention is still like, I'm still having fun. Yeah, I'm still playing. We're just connecting. Now that's when you often have tension, right? When the intention is differing among both parties, where one person wants more. And maybe that's not communicated, or maybe it is communicated, right? And you can't work through and come to a middle ground that feels good. And I'm naming this because I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about in your relationship, have we named our intentions? If not, we need to get clear on them. Yeah, you each need to get clear on what is your intention. Yeah, from the relationship. What is the goal? Why are you in a relationship with this person? And to check in with the other, to gut check, like, what is their intention? Yeah, is there alignment there? And if there's not, can we meet each other? Okay, super, super important. Number 2, right? Another reason that relationships fail is when there is an uneven balance of power, a hierarchy. Now, this can happen when one party is putting the other person on a pedestal. And why that leads relationships to fail is because over time, one party thinks they're better than the other. And that deadens you can call it sexual polarity, which is like the energetic charge that creates magnetic attraction. It deadens the desire because you lose desire for someone that you feel is beneath you. The partner that puts the other one on a pedestal, right? They're like people pleasing. They're loving their partner, but the partner that's on the pedestal loses desire for the other partner. And uneven power dynamics cause relationships to fail because you're both not satisfied in the end. Maybe temporarily, unless the person, there's all kinds of people in the world, unless it's an unhealthy, toxic, manipulative relationship where there's unhealthy power dynamics. In a healthy relationship with two healthy, attached human beings, the person that has more power in the relationship is also going to end up being bored. Because a healthy dynamic, a healthy person, they want to be with an equal. They want to be with someone that's going to call them out on their shit. They want to be with someone that has an opinion about something. They want to be with someone that challenges them, that expresses themselves. Otherwise, they're going to be bored. Now, the person with less power in the relationship, if you're in this uneven dynamic, they're going to be the person that's resentful, maybe even angry. Maybe it manifests as anger, frustration. Yeah? And that often comes, it's a projection from anger towards self for not expressing self, or for not leaving, or for not standing up for what you believe in, or what you deserve, or what you need. And so instead it manifests in other ways, drama, making a scene, right? Doing whatever you need to do to get your partner's attention or to try to have power in the relationship. Now you feel it. You feel it when it's uneven dynamics. You feel it when you know you're afraid to speak up, or when you know you're walking on eggshells around your partner because you don't want to tip them off about something. And so, yeah, it often leads to dissolution in the relationship. Yeah, when there's uneven power dynamics in the relationship, and it never feels good. So that's number 2. The third reason that relationships fail, what I see often and hear often, is it's a communication breakdown. This often happens because both parties don't know how to communicate effectively with each other. Both parties don't see eye to eye with each other. Both parties don't know how to shift each other's energy, shift the dynamic, shift the mood when it gets heavy. Because you see, when a mood gets heavy or communication gets heavy, someone needs to be the one to shift it. Someone needs to know how to shift it. And I teach this in my work, but usually, in order to shift it effectively, yeah, you need to be able to use a little bit of lightness. You need to be able to use a little humor, a little bit of play. Because you think about, if you're trying to get someone to do something, yeah, how do you do it? You do it with honey, right? You bring a lot more bees with honey, yeah, than with lemons. And so you need to learn how to coax or seduce your partner into engaging you in conversation, yeah, working through that conflict. And so in order to do it, you got to bring a little bit of lightness. You got to bring a little bit of play, a little bit of airiness to the energy. Now it's communication, baby. Communication is words, how you use your words, tone of voice you use your words, what you say, where you pause, where you linger, where you're silent. Now, being silent is also communicating something. And it's also your body language. Are you moving? You got a little sway going on. If you're watching this baby on YouTube, yeah, got a little sway. Are you smiling? Are you looking your partner in the eyes? How's your energy, yeah? Is your body tense? Are you hunched? Are you barely breathing? Or are you expansive and energized? Yeah. Get a little pep in your step. That communicates a lot. And so where relationships fail is where both parties can't communicate. So that can also be verbally, where you're constantly ticking your partner off. They're constantly ticking you off. You're both getting triggered. You're both acting out of trigger. You're both responding like animals instead of taking time to reflect as a human being. We have consciousness to reflect, to think, to pause, to figure out how you want to respond, to practice how you want to respond. So many people forget that piece. But it's so important. You practice how you're going to deliver a speech at work. Why wouldn't you practice how you're going to communicate with your partner? It's so important. Our relationships are our biggest source of fulfillment, our biggest source of growth. You bet your ass you got to practice how you're going to communicate. I do. You should. I don't want to should you, but it's important if you want to have deep relating, definitely. And so it's working through the communication. It's also working through your own tone of voice and how you're communicating. And being sensitive to your partner. How are they receiving you? Do you notice they're closing with your words? If you shift your energy, if you shift your tone, your cadence, does that shift? If you shift your body language, does that shift? If you add a bit of humor, does that shift? If you're more subtle, does that shift? Or are you more direct? What works better? It's working with your communication. And it goes wrong when you don't shift it. And you're just communicating in the same way that's causing the same cycle of unhealthy relating or fighting or bickering and not hearing each other or wanting to hear each other, not being open to each other's perspectives, not validating each other. Communication can be so easy when you're sensitive. When you're sensitive to your own self and you're sensitive to another. Yeah, and then it allows you to work with them. It's like, okay, I'm feeling you. Yeah, we're doing this dance together, communication. How do I get you to hear my perspective? How do I validate your perspective so that we both feel heard, so that we both win, as opposed to we both lose? How do I become a master at communicating? A master, and you can practice this in your whole life, baby. You can practice this with your friends. You can practice this with the attendant at the grocery store. This is why I love communication so much. Yeah? Why relationships fail doesn't just mean romantic. Any relationship. Can you communicate through the hard? Can you share your heart vulnerably through the hard? Can you reach out to another in a hard time? And how do you do it? And so, communication is number 3. And it's so easy just to shut down or to walk away when something gets hard, run away when something gets hard, avoid it. Mask it, dive into work, movies, phone calls, distractions, right? All the things so that we don't have to sit with ourselves. What am I feeling? How do I communicate it in a way that's effective? How do I communicate it in a way that's going to leave an impact? I love this work. That's why I've studied this work for 15 years. Because it's everything. All of life is communication. So just to recap, those 3 reasons why relationships fail, 3 areas that I really, really want you to take a look at your relationships and check in about and reflect on is number 1, right? The intention of the relationship. What is the intention? What is the purpose? Why are we together? What is your vision? What is my vision? Are we aligned? And check in consistently. If you're in a long-term relationship, like you check in every couple months. What is the intention? Is it the same? Has it changed? Do we need to tweak it as a coupledom? Okay. Number 2, uneven power dynamics, right? Are we respecting each other? Is there uneven power dynamics? Is one partner on a pedestal? Does one partner feel better than the other? If so, how do we fix it so that it becomes more balanced? That's super, super important. And number 3, communication. How's our communication? How are we communicating? How are we working through conflict? Are we hearing each other? Are we validating each other? Are we curious about each other? Are we giving each other space to voice? Last little ditty I want to throw in here is when you're also evaluating if the relationship is serving you, a relationship is serving you, I want you to think about, who am I when I'm in this relationship? Because we often point to the other. You know, this person is X, Y, and Z, but we don't actually think about, who am I when I'm in this relationship? Am I my best self? Am I my most confident self? Am I my most playful, funny, humorous, light-hearted self? If not, how can I get there? Can I get there with this person? Can I shift myself internally, my way of being, and see if it's possible to be like that with this person? And when you do that and you do deep work to shift self, and if it still isn't shifting over time, your relationship, okay, maybe it's this person. Maybe they're dragging down my energy. Maybe they're manipulative and I'm hating myself or feeling insecure because of this dynamic. So I really want you to think about, as a last thing to plant into your mind, who am I when I'm in this relationship? And also to map out, who do I want to be? Yeah. Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? What do I need to do to show up in that way? Yeah. Yeah. Do I want to feel more at ease, more graceful? Do I need to speak slower? Do I need to think before I speak? Do I need to take pauses and reflect when I don't have an answer? When I'm not ready to work through a conflict? Do I want to bring more humor and play into my way of being? Can I be lighter? Can I be more silly? Can I be more fun? Can I be more confident? Can I be more assertive? Where do I need to do inner work? Where do they need to do inner work? This is it, baby. There you have it. There you have it. Mama Nicola's relaxed right now. She just had a beautiful, beautiful night out and connecting and singing and dancing, and she's feeling good. She is speaking in the third person. That is correctamundo. Babies. 3 reasons relationships fail, we talked about. And we also talked about a prompt her to think about, who are you? Who are you in this relationship? Who were you in your last relationship? Who do you want to be? Thank you, beautiful people, for joining me today.